Hare Krishna. Welcome to Thursday's special association on folk life. I welcome you all for the session. The whole world is intensely watching the conflict between Hamas and the Israeli forces. I would be reading few headlines and I would be sharing life lessons from that particular headline. The whole world is watching keenly what is happening in Middle East, especially in the Israel, the Hamas and the Israeli conflict, which has taken the whole world not by shock, not by surprise. It's a regular event which is happening in the last 70, 80 odd years. What are the life lessons? What do we understand by this situation? From the spiritual perspective, I'll take you through the lens of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And Swami Prabhupada sees these acts of war and violence where people are slaughtered, massacred, women raped, and children chopped. Before we start, let us pray to Srila Prabhupada and take his blessings to understand things in a proper perspective. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Couple of days ago, early morning at 6:30, suddenly a barrage of rockets, mortars from Gaza Strip were shelled towards the Israel. And the security situation in Israel was taken aback. Israel is known for its defense. Israel is known for its technology and the way it fought the previous war. It is known for its capabilities. But unfortunately, when this happened, 5,000 rockets, according to Hamas, when they fell in Israel, everything went for a toss. From all three sides, the Hamas terrorists attacked the Israel by land, by air, and even by water. That's through Sea, Mediterranean Sea. And complete the Israel Defense Force was on a backstep. The former naval chief of Israel asked, the whole Israel is asking, where is Israel Defense Force? Where is the security? Where is the police staff? It was a colossal failure. It was a sudden attack. Israel thought it could handle Gaza's Palestinian militants. Although it was powerful, superpower in that sense, it was taken aback by the sudden rapid attack by the militants. Now, what do you understand by this? Now, this perspective, what I'm going to give you, is applicable only for those who are already in Krishna consciousness, because the whole world is talking about. Hence, the devotees need to understand. Hence, this understanding of the world, because devotees are least interested with the other things, what's happening around the world. But when it's given a perspective to make it understand ourselves and to convey to others, that's why I warn, this is exclusively meant for those who are into Krishna consciousness. They can digest and appreciate and understand. Others who would be hearing it for the first time, they may not be able to digest in the right spirit. Similarly, Maya takes it for granted. She attacks us when we are complacent and mediocre in our approach in practicing Krishna consciousness. When we fail to chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, attentively hear the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, when we fail to associate with devotees, we are in the own world of Maya, then suddenly, of course, when you stop dissociating with devotees, everything will fall in displace in that sense. The Maya, with their different agencies, will attack on our consciousness. She will hit left, right, and center. We'll not be able to realize when she attacked us so furiously that we couldn't realize that we've been attacked. And the case will be like this, a mass massacre of our Krishna consciousness. It will take years for us to, or months sometimes, to come back and stand on our still, because we have come to Krishna consciousness, a colossal fight between the Maya. So this is fun understanding. Now, when such barrage of rockets were launched, the Iron Dome system, which used to protect the Israeli area, the Iron Dome system, when the rockets are launched from the Gaza trips or Palestinian West Bank, Israel has a most sophisticated Iron Dome system. It will intercept the incoming object and neutralize within the air before it drops back, before it even hurts the land or the people inside the territory. That was the most powerful dome. So that's what's the dom which energy of Krishna creates when we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Just trying to help you, giving you understanding. Barrage of thoughts, ocean of sensual thoughts will attack our consciousness. Just like one who tries to satisfy those desires will never get satisfied. On the contrary, who doesn't act on those thoughts, but takes those thoughts, just like rivers enter into the oceans and still becomes uncalm, he can handle the situation. Na kama kami, and those who acts on the situation, acts on those thoughts. Just like this barrage. But unfortunately, in this particular situation, couple of days ago, it was not able to handle, Iron Dome was not able to handle such series of attack. Constantly, according to Hamas, they fired close to 5,000 rockets, and the Iron Dome system failed to perform to its fullest capacity. It failed miserably. Close to 1,000 recent numbers, close to 1,500 Israelis have been killed from the rockets, from the militants who attacked inside, went inside. So what do we understand this? We have also declared a war against Maya. Just like Benjamin Netanyahu, he said in his address to the nation, we are at war. It is not just an operation. The country is at war. Similarly, each and every living entity, we are at war with Maya. Maya is a powerful agent. Mama Maya Durattaya. Devi Esha Gunamayi. Mama Maya Durattaya. She is insurmountable. Krishna's powerful energy. We cannot face her. Of course, you may think from this perspective of Israel, or you may think from the Palestinian perspective. At the end of the day, as devotees, we should understand this. We are also at war. In war, weak soldiers will die. That's why they said one who sweats during the training will bleed less in the war. When Maya attacks us, if you are not trained properly during the peacetime, when you're in the training, we are not sweating properly. That means our sweating is to rise early in the morning. Our sweating is to take bath early in the morning. Our sweating or training is to attend the Mangala Aarti. Follow the whole morning sadhana. Chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra attentively, soulfully, with devotees in the temple hall or in folk residency. Chant and dance in the kirtan. Have prasadam only, and without fail hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And throughout the day, engage ourselves in practical devotional service. If you're a student, go for your college. If you're working, go for your work. But at the end of the day, come back in the evening and also make sure that you chant your remaining rounds or hear Bhagavad Gita lectures or do some practical devotional service. You have to have this sandwich program. Otherwise, Maya is very insurmountable, and we have declared a war. In war, weak soldiers will die, and the soldiers who train every day, fight every day, they will be in a good position to handle it. And that training is to actually surrender to Krishna. The whole endeavor, the whole process, what I've been telling is a process given by Swami Prabhupada, our commander-in-chief of Lord Chaitanya's army. He has put it this practices. When we are in this practice, we are actually telling Krishna, I am surrendering to you. And that's what Krishna says in the Gita. Mameva prapadyante. Mayam etam tarantite. If you surrender unto me, you can easily cross over the conditions of Maya. I'll tell her, she's working under my superintendence. Maya adhikshena prakati suvate sacharana charam. And if you surrender unto me, prapadyante, mayam etam tarantiti, you can easily cross over Maya. This is another understanding. And when such a war happens, every country has a right to defend. They defend. When they attack, its first principle is to defend. And Krishna also, in the purport of Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada writes, there are 6 aggressors. One who attacks with deadly weapon, one who steals your property, steals your wife, all extra 3 more reasons are there. They are to be killed or finished then and there, and there is no sin incurred. Of course, it's on a spiritual plane in a different realm altogether. Currently, we cannot apply this because we are under different laws of the government, different nations. But to defend ourselves is the right of each and every individual. So when somebody attacks, you cannot say, no, please come and kill me, or give the guard like this, like some famous politician said. No, you have to defend yourself. And the best defense is the attack. In that sense, when somebody attacks, you have to attack to defend yourself. Similarly, the best attack is to have the attack of preaching Krishna consciousness. When you are vigorously preaching Krishna consciousness, the attack what you do it on Maya with Krishna's help by training yourself properly in the morning hours and in the day times at your college, at your office, or in your preaching, or for devotees who are watching, unless and until you go out and preach the message of Krishna consciousness vigorously on a war footage, using the best means, nirbandhe Krishna sambandhe, using every possible thing in the service of the Lord with authorization, you can win over this war. That's what Krishna is telling. Because the time duration in the daytime has to be utilized in the service of the Lord. And for those who are otherwise not as a full-time devotees, you have to figure out how we can keep Krishna in the center. Otherwise, things are going to be very, very difficult. Another thing which comes out is who is benefiting from this war. Whether it is Ukraine-Russia war, whether it is the Cold War, which is happening with different countries these days. The China is on an expansion spree, and the most important entity benefiting from this is the defense companies. I was just going through the statistics. It is said Israel-Hamas war, US defense stocks rocket while Israel-based stocks tank globally. Defense stocks may keep rallying after gains from Israel-Hamas war. What the Israel-Hamas war portends for India's defense sectors. So this is the primary purpose of all these so-called cruel demonic leaders to make war happen. And who benefits from this war? The defense companies. The defense companies are the one who really benefit from this. And what is the defense? When I said defense is the 4 primary things. Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithuna. Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithuna. These are the 4 primary activities which a human being and an animal does. This act of defense is because of fear. These are the common activities among all the living entities. This cannot be avoided. Even kids fight. You cannot avoid fighting. But they patch up also immediately. So as long as we are in the bodily concept of life, wars cannot be avoided. Violence cannot be avoided. Violence and war are integral part of the humanly nature. This is there in the history throughout. The great World War I and II were also fought primarily for defense. Before the defense of what? Business, money. Because the British goods were sold all across the world, and the German goods were far more better in quality than the British goods, and the Germans couldn't sell it all across the globe because Britishers used to tax them heavily, and it would be highly expensive for the people to purchase. So they had to go for war. Like that, there has been war by and large because of the painful situation created by these demonic leaders. Of course, from from the spiritual perspective, it's a reality. Because their fundamental understanding, as I said, Ahara Nidra Bhayamayatana, is understanding that I am the body, the animal is thinking is the animal, the dog is thinking is the dog, and the human being is also thinking on the same bodily platform. And that's why this war happens. This tract of land belongs to me. Now, you can justify Israel for their attack because Hamas attacked. Then you further go, why did Palestine attack? Because you fiddled with the Al-Aqsa mosque there. Then you further go, why did Alaska people fiddled with? Because you had captured the Israeli land. Then further you go back, it was the Arab land, it was Jews' land, it was Christian land, and Jews were persecuted throughout the world. And if you go on, actually who does the whole world belong to? Who does this tract of land belong to? Who does this earth belong to? Who does this planet's cosmos belong to? It belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we, having the mentality of a dog, bow, bow, meow, meow, ye mera, ye tera hai. Before you existed, this land existed. When you are here, it is existing, and you live for a few 60, 70 years, and you claim this is to be a land. And after you go, this land still exists. The land, property, the wealth, everything in existence belongs to the Supreme Personality of God. And the solution for all this war is peace. And that peace can be attained when we have this fundamental understanding that Krishna is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Krishna is Surdam Sarva Bhutanam. Krishna is the Bhoktam of Sarva Yagna Tapasa. When we understand these three principles, that Krishna is the proprietor of all that exists, Krishna is the best friend, and Krishna, Surdam Sarva Bhutanam, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, Surdam Sarva Bhutanam, Shanti Rachati. Then one attains peace. He is the supreme enjoyer of all the sacrifices. Third one. Then we attain peace. As long as the men and women of this world don't come to this conclusion, no amount of peace proposals, no amount of UN conventions, no amount of war can bring in peace. But the animals have to be tamed. Now, who can decide who is the animal? Actually, both of us are animals, whether that party or this party, because the consciousness is bow, bow, meow, meow, to be frank and straightforward. As long as we are in the animalistic propensities, we are in the animal tendencies, this is mine, the war will continue to exist. Now, when this happens, a lot of things happen. I was just reading one of the hits from Prabhupada's teaching, World War and Vanipedia hit. And one of the quote which said was, they do not know what is the aim of life. Ask any leader, the leader says, no, this is aim of life. Drink and enjoy, that's all. And fight. See, yan maitunadi grihamedi sukhami tucham. They have no other pleasure except sex life. They have no information that there is another pleasure. Even the Second World War, the material world means sex life. Then you increase your material life more and more. Therefore, the process is brahmacharya. When you understand that I am not the body, I am spirit, soul, and act on that platform, your pleasure-seeking abilities on a different scale altogether. So now these animals, what do they know? Nidra, Bhaya, Maituna. Even when they capture these women and kids, what do? War criminals. They rape women. They butcher them. They were paraded naked and killed brutally because of animalistic, barbaric reality of this conditioned souls. And in actuality, why this war happened? War happens because people in general, all across the globe, slaughter animals in large scale. In US alone, in an hour, close to 6.6 lakh animals are slaughtered for the taste buds of Americans. Just an hour. When such mass scale of slaughters happens all across the world, every single hour, the reaction will come in the form of wars, famines, earthquakes, tsunamis, flash floods, volcano eruptions. These are the reactions. According to Newton, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The action which will give you reactions. This is for sure. These actions will have reaction. These are the reactions. As long as men maintain slaughterhouses, especially the Western world, when you have slaughterhouses, in every 5 years or 10 years, there are regular wars. In these wars, mass slaughter of human beings happen who survive on those animals. Everyone gets killed. This is another life lesson what you can learn. And they would say, okay, Jesus Christ ate meat. Okay, agreed. But he didn't maintain slaughterhouses like you people. You sow pain, you reap pain. This is a reality. Law of karma. No one is an exception. What about those kids, those innocent kids who were massacred? Of course, it can be a controversial statement, but the fact is, anybody who has got, that's why I said this is meant for those who are in Krishna conscious. Others cannot understand. It becomes incomprehensible for the people in general to understand. Law of karma states, nobody suffers or enjoys undeservingly. Nobody suffers or enjoys undeservingly. If somebody suffers or enjoys, it is his doing. Now, what about the baby? Because people don't have this understanding. Even the baby is not innocent. Of course, it is condemned. They have to be brutally punished for it. But according to law of karma, no one is an exception. If you are put in that condition, according to the actions of the soul in his previous life or the previous lives, comes in the form of pains. When you do good karma, you get better living conditions in the jail. This entire world is a jail. And when you do bad karma or sinful activities, you are put into difficulties like this. Now, right now, all of them are suffering because people in general are performing a lot of sinful activities. More you perform sinful activities, more you have to suffer for this. Now, this knowledge about Krishna consciousness is so important for people to understand the basics of Krishna consciousness, that I am not the body. When everyone understand I am not the body, I am spirit soul, that is one thing. On the bodily concept of life, satisfying, gratifying the needs of the senses, not only of your individual self, but your extended family or your community. There's a conflict when everyone identifies with the body and they fight for the pleasures, they fight for the gratification, and the resources are less, and there's a fight. This belongs to me, this belongs to me, this girl belongs to me, this girl belongs to me, this property belongs to me, this property belongs to me, and the fight perpetually goes. And who does actually everything belongs to? The Supreme Lord. And we have a loving, sweet relations with the Supreme Lord. Mamai Vaimsha Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are, anshas of the Lord. We have a Sat Chit Ananda form of the Lord. Until we serve the Supreme Lord, this war-like situation will never stop. When we surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then only we can understand this. The fact that we are suffering is because we have done a crime and we continue to commit the crime even being within the jail. Hence our sinful tendency, hence our sinful reactions, hence our severity of the punishment enhances and increases. This is a root and cause of all our suffering, that we have forgotten Krishna. Once we establish our lost relationship with Krishna, we will be eternally be happy, because we are made like that. Our manufacture is like that. And the highest welfare activity is to tell to the whole world who is suffering because of war, pestilence, famine, floods, and all Adi Bhautika, Adi Devika, Kleshas, is to go and tell them, that you are Krishna's and you have a loving, sweet relationship. And because you have forgotten Krishna, you are in this material world and suffering, and you have to establish a relationship and you get out of the jail. And for that purpose, Krishna personally comes down to this material world. Krishna sends his representatives. Krishna sends, even in Israel, the devotees are there. I got to know the message from one of our devotees. He shared this message about the operations done by devotees in ISKCON. Just want to read it for you. It says, latest from ISKCON, Hare Krishna, please accept our obeisances. On behalf of leadership of ISKCON Israel, we inform you that due to the outbreak of the war, there are no casualties among the devotees. His Holiness Bhakti Vijnana Goswami has left safely, and other devotees also safe. Many Prabhus have been drafted into the army. Many Prabhus have been drafted into the army. The devotees who are part of the ISKCON movement in ISKCON, now because of the emergency, there's a call for the war from the nation, they are drafted into the army. And young Mataji soldiers too. Many families have sons and husbands now in the combat zone. They are fighting. Some devotees were drafted, some have loved ones and relatives on active duty. Devotees are helping each other, trying to help those around them as well. Devotees are now back in their homes and staying with friends in safer areas. Still, missiles are falling in the center of the country as I am writing these lines. One of the devotee who shared this. So that's the reality of material world is like this. You cannot have peace any moment. It is designed like that by the Lord. This is another life lesson. Dukhalayam it is. Krishna says, no matter how hard you try, the Israelis were feasting and marrying. They had a rave parties. 250s, 270 of them were shot dead by the Hamas militants when they landed in that area just adjacent to Gaza Strip. Suddenly, when they were marrying, suddenly their shot finished. They are running for their life. This is the reality of life. This is forest fire. In the forest, nobody goes to set the forest on fire. Still, the forest is set on fire. This is the nature of the material world. And especially the living entities in the forest suffer because of the forest fire. And we human beings also get this suffering because of untime, because of this war, pestilence, and unwanted natural calamities. We don't want them to happen. Still, it happens because we have done such criminal activities. The only shelter is samsara dava nalalida loka tranaya karunya ganaganatvam praptasya kalyana gunanavasya vande kuroshri charanaravinda. When the forest fire takes place, fire engines, your bucket of water cannot extinguish the fire. It needs, the cloud has to pour rains to douse the forest fire. Similarly, the only saving grace in such forest fire of this middle existence is the mercy of a pure devotee, bona fide spiritual master like Prabhupada. When if not the whole world, if at least 1% of the world population takes up Krishna consciousness seriously, it can change the face of the world. That's why Prabhupada used to appeal every single leader wherever he used to go, please accept this Krishna consciousness movement. We are trying to do on our own small scale. But if you can help us, and if this can take over at a mass scale, there will be harmony, peace in the whole world. The 100% of world population will not be Krishna conscious. At least even 1% of them become Krishna consciousness, peace will prevail. Even at least for peace, even at least for rains, even at least for food. Of course, one should not take chanting of Hare Krishna for this mental benefit, but at least for even if otherwise you do also, this material benefits automatically come into existence. Peace will prevail. So that is the bottom line. And that responsibility is there in you young folks who are taking up Krishna consciousness seriously. Actually, Prabhupada said this Krishna consciousness movement will be remembered in the history of mankind for saving the mankind from going to hell. And that's going to be a reality. Already it has done so in pockets. Now, if the younger generation of this world comes to take up Krishna consciousness seriously, especially Indians who are part of this Krishna consciousness movement, who are there, taken birth in India, if you people take up this to Krishna consciousness seriously and spread this message all across the globe, that will be a great impact on this world and the population and the peace and harmony in this world. The only thing which can benefit the world is Krishna's message, Hare Krishna Mahamantra and the Gita. Rest all are going to make them suffer worst every time. So I would appeal to all the younger generations here to please take it up, Krishna consciousness seriously. And this war should remind us of another message from the Srimad Bhagavatam, that padam yat vipadam na tesham. Every step in this material world, there's a danger. You cannot have a peaceful existence. Even if there is no war, you will have diseases. How many types of disease? Suffering caused by other living entities. Your fellow citizens, prime minister, military men, dogs, viruses, bacteria, suffering caused by your own body and mind, adhyatmika klesha. The body creates a lot of difficulties. And mind also. Today, most of the people, because of technology, because of the isolation, because of not having this wonderful practice of Krishna consciousness, they are into mental diseases. These are the difficulties what people go through. Adhyatmika klesha, suffering caused by body and mind. Adi Devika klesha, suffering caused by higher living entities. Adi Bhaudika klesha, suffering caused by other living entities. In this way, people tend to suffer very badly. The only hope for them to get benefited out of this is to take up Krishna consciousness seriously. Otherwise, there is no future of happiness for these people in this world. This is the only hope. And one headline said Israel is ready for two frontal wars. In fact, three frontal wars. In fact, in 73 and 67, they had 6 nations attacking simultaneously, but they became victorious. Just on another note, world will be against us, Maya will be against us, but if you catch hold of Krishna's lotus feet tightly, strongly, by chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day, following the 4 little principles and being the association of devotees, no power in the world can stop you from surviving and going back home, back to Godhead. And devotees may die, devotee's body may be finished, but the consciousness, because Krishna has promised to protect your consciousness, not the body. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna means he will protect your Krishna consciousness. Body is anyways Anta. Antavanta, it's going to die, even if not for war, if for something else. But the spiritual activities what you perform is going to elevate you. This wars you can win, but how long you can stop your death? This, if not for war, you will die in a car accident or otherwise. Correct, no? So, but the soul doesn't die. Soul, only the body dies, and the soul belongs to Krishna. Because of our desire to enjoy, independent of Krishna, minus Krishna, the soul is wandering in different species. And after coming to this human form of life, but still we are stuck up with this basic animalistic propensities of eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. And that's why this conflict happens. And if you understand this basic fundamental principles, I'm not the body, I'm spirit, soul, I'm Ansha of the Lord, and my duty is to serve my Supreme Lord by rendering devotional service unto Him. And that is the real bliss what we can have. So with this, I stop. If you have any questions or comments, I'll be very happy to answer a few.